What's up, guys? It's Nate, One Man's Odyssey, doing a day hike here from, I guess, southeastern Colorado. We are today trying to hike up Greenhorn Mountain. Now, of course, I know most of my viewers are from New Mexico, and this mountain is very relevant to New Mexico, and I'll explain why in a bit. I'll say on a personal note, I've had this mountain recommended to me a couple times. I see it all the time when I'm, doing hikes in northeastern New Mexico, southern Colorado, so it's also the Pueblo County high point. There's more significance to it than that, but that's, the statistical significance. It's a 2,000-foot prominence peak. Here with my bud, Baby H #1. What's your name?
Austin.
Good job. So we did a little camp out last night, because this is about probably it was about 5 hours from my home. So a pretty decent drive. Of course, a lot of that was just on a forest road, so it's not that far, but it's a beautiful morning, just utterly beautiful morning. After raining a little bit last night, it's supposed to be a clear day today, and we just get great views of whatever, I can't remember what this valley is called, but it's like the Sangre de Cristos out there. We're in the wet mountains, or the Sierra Majada. Greenhorn Mountain is also known as Cuerno Verde. And so I'll explain a little bit of that history in a bit. It is very relevant to New Mexico. So far, the hike's been easy, just a pretty straightforward walk on trail. A lot of times people make this a loop. They come up this, I think this is the Greenhorn Mountain Trail, come up the Bartlett Trail and then come down the Greenhorn Mountain Trail because they want to ascend the Talus Slope. I'm not sure how much he'll be able to handle a Talus Slope, so I figure what our plan will be is to come up and down the same way, but it's beautiful views this morning. Made it to the saddle. Our objective is behind some false summits that way. Nice little wind shelter here.
I'm gonna get a sucker when we get back down from the mountain.
Yep, the prize for getting down the mountain is a lollipop. Well, we have root beer to share at the summit, so we will get a little bit of a prize.
And I could eat the sugar out of the sucker.
Yep. It's been pretty windy this morning, but the wind seems to be coming from, well, whatever direction is right behind us. So I guess that's like northwest. So I think we're gonna climb up this like sub peak and finally get a view of Greenhorn Mountain, the actual true summit. And then when we get to the other side, hopefully it's like this, less windy, we'll stop and take a break.
Greenhorn Mountain has a lot of thorns on the green thorn.
The connection to New Mexico history with this mountain, of course, New Mexico as a Spanish territory had an extent that was much larger than the present day state of New Mexico. In fact, it stretched all the way to I think the northeastern border was the Arkansas River, which we can actually see right here. And the reason why it's called Greenhorn Mountain is because there was a Comanche leader named Greenhorn, Cuerno Verde, and he would raid New Mexican settlements, New Mexican ranches, and so on. And basically, a promise was made to a man named, can't remember his whole name, but his last, name was De Anza. And there was a promise made to him that he could become governor if he basically handled the Cuerno Verde problem. And so historically, military operations would just go right at the Comanche, and they would just, race off into the distance. They would never be able to catch them. Kind of the same problems that would be echoed with the American military later in the 1800s. This is back, I think, in the 1700s. And what De Anza's idea was to basically go up, I think, the San Luis Valley and kind of cut off the Comanche in their villages and basically attack them in their villages where they weren't able to get away. And that lured in Cuerno Verde, who was defeated, and right below this mountain was where they were defeated. And so this mountain took the name after Cuerno Verde, Greenhorn Mountain. And then De Anza was made governor. And basically, my understanding is that this precipitated a treaty between the New Mexicans and the Comanche that lasted basically until the Americans conquered the New Mexico territory, at which point hostilities resumed. But so that is the connection with New Mexican history with this mountain. I think it's really interesting. Starting to reach the point where he's struggling a little bit. I think we're doing a lot of uphill now, and I think he's starting to kind of feel the elevation maybe, and he's feeling the fact that he refuses to eat when I tell him to eat. And so he did finish his Pop-Tarts. I think we're gonna head up and hopefully one final push until we make it to the peak. Can you believe a snake up here at 12,300 feet? Oh my gosh, it's insane. I never would have thought a snake would be all the way this high. I don't know what it is. It's certainly not dangerous, but I don't want to touch it. We made it to the summit, and as you could probably tell, it's super windy up here. It's been windy the whole trip. Give me a second, I'm filming. It's gonna be windy it was windy the whole trip, aside from some shielded areas. We're behind the summit wind block right now, so it's not too bad right here, but if we get out, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna scope out the Talus descent. Maybe we'll take that back, or maybe we'll just go back the way we came. Signing the summit register. We're not even the first people in it for today, which is crazy. We did not see anybody else out here, nobody in the distance, so whoever came up here must have done it real early in the morning, or maybe they did it as a night hike or something. It's nice up here. There are good views. It's a little hazy. I can see one small bit of New Mexico that I can definitively say is New Mexico, and that's Ute Mountain on the other side of the Sangres. No sign of any of the high New Mexico peaks further south of here. Austin, what did you think of the hike?
Good.
Was it hard?
No.
You didn't think it was hard?
It was a little hard.
We did make an impromptu decision to take the talus slope down. It wasn't really that talusy. It was a bit, but not as bad as I was expecting. And Austin handled it mostly well. I had to hold his hand the whole way down. So we were pretty slow going down it, but we were safe. No falls.